is a delicious cake made with yogurt and some jarred pears. I love this recipe because I do it quite often because most of the ingredients here you'll already have in your pantry, starting with some pears. Now these pears in juice are so convenient because they're peeled, they're cored, and they're ready to go into the cake. So I'm just draining them from the juice, reduce it until it becomes quite sticky. It's a really nice sauce to put with the cake. And for this recipe, you'll need 700 grams. So I'll just let them sit there for a moment while we get onto the batter. Now into a food processor, I'll be adding some sugar. So I'm going to be using brown sugar for this. It gives this cake a wonderful molasses-like flavour. So lots of that into the food processor. You can also do this in a mixer. Along with some butter. Now you don't need too much butter for this recipe because the yogurt is the fat content in here. And some vanilla bean paste, about a teaspoon. Pop that in there. Now we'll start to cream the butter and sugar. Now usually with a cake like this would cream and become quite smooth, but the texture that we're looking for here is a sandy texture. So we'll just pop that on and keep an eye on it, but it doesn't need to be smooth at all. Now for some eggs. So 2 eggs for this recipe. We'll just crack that straight into the bowl first. And then as the motor continues, we'll add the eggs. So one at a time. And you add one at a time because you want it to incorporate nicely so it's not going to curdle. The second egg can go in. And then again, give it a quick mix. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, look how creamy and luscious that looks. Now for the dry ingredients, some self-raising flour. We'll add that, and you want to put this on a low speed because I don't want to activate the gluten too much in the flour. We just want to gently fold it in. Some baking powder, just pour that in. And to give this a bit of a festive feel, some spices, I have a combination of cardamom, some nutmeg, and cinnamon. Perfect combination. Goes really nicely with the pears too. Okay, lid on, lower speed, and we'll just watch that fold in nicely. All right, this is the texture I'm after. It actually looks like a bit of a cookie dough at the moment, but fear not, the yogurt is going to bring the whole thing together. So in with the Greek-style yogurt, you want something really creamy for this. And again, the lid will go on, and we're going to incorporate that and mix it until it's nice and smooth. Okay, mixture is ready. You can see that it is just right. We're looking for smooth consistency. I love this. It still is slightly firm, but we're going to add the pears now. So I'll just take the blade out, and I don't want to mix this on the machine. I want to do this by hand. And you can see it's still a firm batter, but that's okay because now the pears go in and they will give a little liquid too. So in with them. And gently fold that through the batter. And you can see I like to do this just with my spatula so we don't break up the pears too much because I want those little chunks of pears to really be shown off in the cake once it's cooked. It smells so good. Okay, time to bake. So I have a 23 centimetre springform tin here. I've lined it around the collar with some baking paper and the bottom just for extra assurance. And we'll just pour our batter in. This then goes into the oven. I'm going to cook this for 1 hour at 180 degrees. The cake's come out of the oven and I've allowed it to cool completely in the tin. And this is why you want that baking paper around the sides because it just makes it so much easier to demold. Isn't it the most beautiful cake? I go back to this cake over and over again because it always works. And carefully take the metal base off. And I think we should just dig in straight away. Cut that straight down the centre. I want to show you how moist this cake is because of the addition of the yogurt, but also the pears keep it really moist. And I like a nice big wedge, and have a look at that. See, you can see the little pears there. It's so soft, it's just right. Onto a plate. And keeping with the yogurt theme, I'll add a dollop of yogurt. You could also add a little cream if you like, even some ice cream on the top. And a little dusting of icing sugar. That is a beautiful cake. I'm gonna have a taste. Ooh, look at that. Spiced pear and yogurt cake. This is one to add to the repertoire. I know you're going to be using it over and over again.